You are holding flowers, peonies, her favorite. You pick them up from the florist, 2 blocks from the train station, because your meeting in Chicago finished a day early and you thought, you genuinely, completely, without a single shadow of doubt thought, that coming home a day early with her favorite flowers on a Thursday night instead of Friday was the kind of thing that makes a person feel loved. You used your key because you wanted it to be a surprise. You did not text ahead because surprises do not work if you text ahead. You opened the door quietly because you wanted to see her face when she turned around and saw you standing there. You are standing in the hallway of your apartment. The flowers are in your hand. And from the bedroom, your bedroom, the room with the blue duvet you picked out together at IKEA on a Saturday 9 months ago, arguing about thread count, there is a sound that your brain identifies and rejects, and identifies again in the space of approximately 1 second. You do not move. For what feels like a very long time, but is probably 4 seconds, you stand in your own hallway with peonies in your hand and your jacket still on and the front door open behind you. Then you take 3 steps forward. You open the bedroom door, and you see exactly what the sound told you you were going to see. Emma sees you first. Her face does something that you will spend a long time trying to find the right word for and never quite manage. It is not guilt exactly. Guilt is what you feel when you have done something wrong and are afraid of being caught, and the catching has not yet happened. This is what comes after the catching. This is the face of a person watching a consequence arrive in real time and having no preparation for it, because consequences this specific cannot be prepared for. Ryan sees you half a second later. You have met Ron exactly twice, at Emma's office Christmas party last year and at a work drinks event in March. He seemed fine. He is a fine person who is currently in a situation that nobody in it would have chosen if they were thinking clearly about consequences. Nobody says anything for a moment that is long enough to contain several lifetimes of realization. Then Emma says your name, just your name. The way people say names when they have run out of everything else, when the name is the only word left that is definitely true. You look at her. You look at Ryan. You look back at Emma. You put the peonies down on the dresser, carefully, with both hands. You do not throw them. You do not drop them. You put them down carefully because some part of you, the part that is already in shock and running on autopilot, understands that how you behave in the next 60 seconds is going to matter to you later, even though right now you cannot feel anything that would help you understand why. You say, very quietly, I think you should go. You are not talking to Emma. Ryan says, and doesn't finish the sentence because there is no version of that sentence that helps anything. He gets dressed. He leaves. The front door closes behind him. The apartment is very quiet. Emma is looking at you. She has pulled the duvet around her and she is sitting on the edge of the bed and she is looking at you with an expression that contains, you can see this even now, even through everything you are feeling, genuine devastation. Not performed, real. You say, how long? She says, 3 months. 3 months. 12 weeks. The last 12 weeks of your life rearranging themselves in real time. Every dinner, every weekend, every I love you passing through a filter it did not have before and coming out different on the other side. You say nothing for a long moment. Then you say, I need to leave. You do not take the flowers. You walk out of the bedroom and down the hallway, and you press the elevator button, and you stand in the elevator, and the elevator takes you to the basement parking garage, and you get in your car and you sit there. The parking garage is fluorescent lit and smells like concrete and exhaust. And it is one of the least romantic places in the world. And right now, it is exactly what you need. A place that is not the apartment. A place that is not outside where the world is moving normally and does not know what just happened. A middle place. A between place. You sit in your car for approximately 4 minutes doing nothing. Not crying. Not yet. Not thinking coherently. Your thoughts are moving too fast and too chaotically to be called thinking. Just sitting. Just being a person who is in a parking garage because upstairs is not possible right now and anywhere else requires a decision. And you cannot make a decision right now. Then you pick up your phone, You open your contacts. You call Mark. Mark answers on the second ring. He says, "Hey." And then he hears something in the quality of your silence that tells him everything he needs to know about the nature of this call. And he says differently, "What happened?" You say, "I came home early." Flowers. Ryan was Mark. She was with someone from her office. Mark is quiet for exactly the right amount of time, not filling the silence immediately, the way people sometimes do when they are more uncomfortable with silence than they are attentive to your need. Just there, present on the other end of the phone. Then he says, "Where are you right now?" You say, "Parking garage, basement of our building." I just needed to not be up there. Mark says, "Okay, stay there. I am getting in my car right now and I am coming to you. Do not drive anywhere. Just stay in the garage." You say, "You don't have to do that." Mark says, "I know I don't have to. Stay in the garage." The call ends. You put the phone on the passenger seat. You look at the gray concrete wall in front of you. There is a yellow painted line on the floor that marks the edge of your parking space. You look at the yellow line for a long time because it is something specific and real to look at. And right now, specific and real is what you need. I want to tell you what Emma is doing upstairs while you sit in the parking garage. She is sitting on the edge of the bed. She has not moved since you left. The duvet is still around her. The peonies, your peonies, her favorite, the ones you carried from Chicago on a train because you wanted to surprise her, are on the dresser where you put them carefully with both hands. She is looking at the peonies. Emma is not a bad person. You need to hear this, even though right now, every part of you is resistant to hearing it. She is a person who made a terrible choice, made it repeatedly for 3 months in the apartment you share with someone from her office, and the terrible choice does not erase who she was before it or who she might be after it. It just exists, permanent and real and absolutely unable to be unmade. She is going to call you in about 20 minutes. You are not going to answer. She is going to call 3 times and then send a text that says, "I am so sorry. There is nothing I can say, but I am so sorry." You will read the text. You will not respond tonight. Not because you are punishing her. Punishment is not the right frame for what you are going through right now. Because you do not have words yet. Because words require a coherence that your thoughts do not currently have. Because sometimes "I am so sorry" is not enough. And the person who said it knows it, and the person who received it knows it. And everyone just has to sit with that truth for a while. The peonies are on the dresser. They will stay there for 3 days before anyone moves them. By then, they will have started to wilt at the edges. Peonies do not last long once they are cut. You chose them anyway because she loves them. You did not know that when you walked through that door with them in your hand, they would become the image that defines this night. The specific, unbearable detail of a love that showed up carrying flowers to its own ending. Mark arrives in 19 minutes. You know this because you have been watching the clock on your dashboard, and watching the clock is the only thing that has given the last 19 minutes any structure. He parks 2 spaces away. He gets out of his car. He walks to yours. He opens the passenger door. You unlocked it when you saw his headlights, and he gets in and he sits down and he does not say anything for a moment. He looks at you. You look at him. He says, "Tell me everything." So you do. The meeting in Chicago ending early, the florist 2 blocks from the station, the key in the lock, the sound from the bedroom, the peonies on the dresser. 3 months. I need to leave. Mark listens to all of it without interrupting. This is one of Mark's specific gifts, the ability to hear something completely before he responds to it, which sounds like a low bar, but is in practice extremely rare and enormously valuable in a parking garage at 9 p.m. on a Thursday. When you finish, he says, "Where are you going to sleep tonight?" You had not thought about this. You have been so entirely inside the moment that the practical geography of the next 12 hours had not occurred to you. You say, I hadn't thought about that." Mark says, "You're coming to mine. I have the couch. It's a good couch. Salah, you've slept on it before." You say, "I need clothes. My stuff is up there." Mark says, "Tell me what you need. I will go up and get it. You don't have to go back up there tonight." You look at him. Your best friend who drove 19 minutes to a parking garage on a Thursday night and is now offering to go up to your apartment and face the aftermath of your relationship so that you do not have to. You say, "You would do that?" Mark says, "I am going to do that. Text me a list. Stay in the car." He gets out of your car. He walks to the elevator. He goes upstairs. He is up there for 11 minutes. You do not know what is said between Mark and Emma in those 11 minutes, and you will not ask, and Mark will not tell you unless you ask directly, because Mark understands the difference between the information you need and the information that would only hurt you more. He comes back down with a bag, your gym bag, clothes, charger, your book, your wash bag, everything you need for one night. He hands it through the window of your car. He says, "Follow me to mine. Drive carefully." You follow him out of the parking garage, into the night, away from the building. Mark's couch is, as promised, a good couch. You sit on it at 10:30 p.m. with a cup of tea you did not ask for and did not refuse. Mark made it automatically, the way he does things that need doing without making them into gestures. And you look at the wall of Mark's apartment, which has a framed poster of a film you both saw together 3 years ago, and a shelf of books that Mark has read, and a small plant that is thriving in a way that suggests Mark is better at consistency than he lets on. Mark sits in the armchair across from you. He does not try to fix it, does not offer advice you did not ask for, does not say things like "plenty more fish" or "you're better off," or any of the phrases that are technically true and completely useless in the first hours after something like this. He says you don't have to talk. We can just sit. You say, "I keep thinking about the flowers." He says, "Tell me about the flowers." So you tell him about the flowers, about the florist 2 blocks from the station, about choosing peonies because they are her favorite, about carrying them on the train, about putting them down carefully on the dresser with both hands, because some part of you, even then, even in that moment, was trying to hold something together that was already gone. Mark listens. When you finish, he says, "That was a loving thing to do. Bringing those flowers, all of it, coming home early, wanting to surprise her. That was a loving thing to do. And it says something about who you are, that the way you chose to show up for her was with her favorite flowers." You say, "It didn't help." Mark says, "No, but it is still true about who you are. And who you are does not change because of what she did." That is the most important thing I can tell you tonight, and I need you to hear it. You sit with that. Who you are does not change because of what she did. Here's what I want to tell you. The thing that the parking garage and Mark's couch and the peonies wilting on a dresser cannot tell you, but time can. Tonight is the worst night. Sawani, not the second worst or the third. Tonight, the night it happened, the night of the flowers and the parking garage and the good couch, this is the bottom of it. And the reason that matters is because the bottom is also the point from which every direction is up. You are going to feel things in the next weeks that do not have clean names. Grief and anger and the specific exhausting loop of replaying moments looking for the signs you missed. You are going to have days when you are completely fine, and that will feel wrong. You are going to have days when you are not fine at all, and that will feel right, but also endless. All of it is part of the same thing. All of it is you processing a real loss. Not just a relationship, but a version of reality that turned out to be different from the one you were living inside. That is not a small thing. It is not something you should rush through or perform your way out of for other people's comfort. But here is what else is true. You came home with peonies. You put them down carefully. You said, "I need to leave with complete dignity," and you left. You called the right person. You let someone come to you. You followed his car out of the parking garage and into the night, and you are sitting on a good couch drinking tea you did not ask for, and you are still here. Still here. Still the person who carries flowers on a train to surprise someone they love. Still the person who puts things down carefully even when everything is falling apart. Still the person Mark drove 19 minutes for without being asked. Emma made a choice. You did not make her make it. You cannot unmake it. All you can do, all that is left, is decide what you build next, and you will build something. Not tonight. Tonight is for the good couch and the tea and the poster on the wall and Mark sitting in the armchair not trying to fix anything. But after tonight, you will build something. If you have been here, if you have been the person in the parking garage, drop in the comments. What got you through the first night? Because someone watching this right now is in their own parking garage, and your answer is for them. Subscribe to Borrowed Lives. Every week, a different life. Every time, something true about what it means to be human. See you in the next Borrowed Life.